So there's a whole lot for us to learn, and I've got some really amazing women to talk to us about everything you need to know. I know that you've been through like different lectures already, and it's kind of like a lot. So, well, now you know that I'm here. I'm gonna make it a little bit more fun, but still informative at the same time. So this really, as we know, is all about entertainment. But then we know that there has been a whole lot of evolution in the last, let's just say, some 3 years, 4 years already. Everyone is going digital, things are changing. So big question. I know that a lot of artists here are also wondering, is it really important? You know, is it still necessary to have like record labels? Is the record label really doing what they should do? Is the effects really obvious, you know? Or can we just do this our music thing and just keep it moving, you know? That kind of question. A lot of us have been wondering about it. But then we also know that they have their importance too. So I'm going to do like a little intro. It's just a couple lines so that you have a mindset, and then I can now ask a few questions. So how has the music industry evolved in recent years, and what are the key factors influencing the role of record label or independent distribution platforms and whatnot? I guess one person I might want to start this question with would be, I don't know, Princess? No? You see what I said? No, but this is just a conversation. I mean, I just want to ask, why do female artists find it difficult to collaborate more with one another? And the reason I'm asking you in particular, Esther, is because we were already having a conversation by ourselves. And I would imagine that I'm an artist, obviously, and you too, you're into music. It would have been very easy for us to be able to do a collaboration, but for a lot of female artists, it's a bit difficult. What do you think may be the issues surrounding it?
Actually, when I came in, I was telling Amanda that so we have a lot of female artists in the industry because I was surprised because I know we just have very few female artists and we don't really like competition. So it's kind of difficult for people to, they're in a competitive industry already. So it's kind of difficult to put people on because there are just very few female artists doing the same thing. It's different with the other gender. So it's not really easy for the collaboration to really come together. And also the society is not helping things, just like what social media does, trying to compare someone that won the Grammy Award to someone that has not won an award or something. So it's extremely competitive and it's not easy. And not everybody has that ability to give out the verses as well too. And also the manager also has a role to play that, oh, you know what benefit will it benefit my artist to put you on this song?
Yeah, okay. Are you saying that the reason people collaborate with people is basically what they can benefit from the person?
Yeah, most of the time it's about
Oh,
benefit
wow.
because it's not a game of numbers.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
if I have to put Chioma on my song now, can
yes.
she get me to top one on Apple Music? You know, things like that.
Yes. Okay, okay. So what do you think we can do to foster more collaborations amongst women? I don't know. What can we do?
Yeah, we need to swing off the thought of, trying to see everything as a competition. We need to come together to support one another.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, okay. I absolutely agree. So this is one thing that I know that happens with all of us. I don't know, for some reason it's a little bit difficult when there are so many women in the room. It's like somebody wants to be the crown bearer and all that. Yeah, alpha female, like you said. I don't know who said that there's a competition or why one person has to be. So many women can be alphas at the same time. We can just be alpha in different spheres and different areas of our lives or different aspects of the music or the creative part. So absolutely. I think that it starts with us, with, letting go of that competitive spirit. I mean, it's good though. It's good so that you can get to the top. However, healthily. You don't want to wish another person bad while you're getting ahead. Let's just have a good spirit. I think that's exactly what she's trying to tell us. Thank you. A round of applause for her, please. So I'm going to move to you, Lachlan, because, you're the legal person. And as much as we all want to create and we want to make money, we cannot miss out that legal part. And I know that sometimes it gets a little bit like a lecture for us, so we're like tired. So, but it's something that we cannot avoid. So I'm going to ask you, how has the rise of independent artists and digital platforms impacted the legal platform or landscape of the music industry, and what legal challenges or opportunities does it present?
Okay, so let's start like this. I'd like to first say it has created job opportunities for lawyers. Because now we have a lot of parties. So before now, it was just, traditionally, it was strictly labels and then the artists. But now we have distributors, we have people that just want to license. So because of the increased number of parties, there are obviously more jobs. Then secondly, the application of law. There's now a lot more room for you to apply what it is. And thirdly, there is now, you have to study more and be better at it because of the number of parties that are arising and different people coming into the industry, it means that a lot of work has to be done. Then also, another thing is there is increased infringement, copyright infringement or intellectual property infringement, because now that one major thing that the digital platforms and the success of the indie artists, one thing it has done is that it has bridged the gap and has allowed access to a lot of people into the industry. And because of that access that it has created, a lot of people are now copying or infringing on people's rights.
Yes.
I really don't know how many takedown applications that are currently going on because of this increased intellectual property infringement. What was the second part of the question?
Yeah, we're saying that what are the challenges or opportunities that these, independent artists, the rise of independent artists, what are the challenges and opportunities it has created so far?
Okay, so in summary, the opportunity is that there is now direct access for the artists to come into the industry, one. Then the challenge is that because of low exposure to knowledge, I don't know exactly how I'm going to explain it, there's now increased intellectual property infringement. So thank you.
Okay, so when a record label, comes to meet an artist, or an artist goes to meet a record label, and then they create a contract and whatnot, do you think that record labels are overly demanding when it comes to like, oh, I now want 10 songs in 2 days, or I want you to do these shows, I want you to be present? Do you think that record labels demand too much from the artist, or yeah, what do you think?
Like I always say, what is fair is what is agreed upon. Insofar as you have put your pen to paper, it means that you have agreed to the demands. Now, talking about the opportunities or the positive impacts of indie artists, there's a way I explain this thing. So we have social capital. Now, you as an artist, one of the things you need to build for yourself is social capital. That is what will bait in the record labels and then gives you an avenue to properly bargain or negotiate your stance with them. So if you do not have that social capital, it means you don't have strength to bargain. So in essence, there's nothing like too much demand. If you bargain right, you get what is right. If you bargain less, you get what's less.
All right, absolutely. I agree. I agree with her on that one. Please, a round of applause for her for that. So I'm going to ask Chioma this question, right? Because, with this, all of this has been put together for an intention, But this, let me just start with this. What are some of the key changes in the music industry that have made artists consider the need for record labels, regardless of where we are now in music?
I think her point kind of caters to this question a bit, in the sense that, and that aside, you see that some artists, so it's a two-edged sword, let me put it that way. So there are some artists who have tried the route of going to a label, and because of the point she mentioned, which I actually love the way you worded, I'm going to start using it moving forward, you get into an agreement because what they offer you is like, but you don't read between the lines. And then when push comes to shove, you're like, do you get? And then people hop off. You know, so people get those types of experiences and they think, oh, it's a label, but you did not. It's, do you understand? I always like to say, like, you need to look at labels as investors. They are going to come to collect, but they must have seen something to want to put money in. And we're not talking small money here that they will put into you. They are relevant, but then it's all about choice of, okay, what works. So some artists who go in, they don't have, we've heard it so many times in the media about artists that, you know, have this bad deal, and then they exit and they don't want to have anything to do with a label. They just want to be independent and figure it out on their own. And then you have artists, of which I've come across a lot of them, that actually stayed independent. They rather just, do you understand, do it because they got to where the success they have without a label. I have a lot of them at TuneCore, maybe mostly gospel artists, but they just feel like, what is it that you're going to give me that I can already, and I get to keep all my money? You know, why am I giving you $10,000 every month? What are you doing for me that I've really not achieved by myself? I'm hitting numbers, I'm going on shows. Do you understand? I'm going on tours and X, Y. What is it that you can give me? And they just rather that. So I think there are artists who have been able to just figure out that, hey, I can create a team by myself, like we've talked about, maybe using friends or even just looking for some simple management companies that know what the hell that they're doing, and you as the artist having some understanding as well, especially in regards to, like, you know, marketing and the rest of all these things that we've touched here, and they're able to do it by themselves. May have taken time, but they've gotten somewhere, and they're rather like, I'd rather not, you know, get into this headache. So it's just that combination, I'll say, of that either they've experienced and they feel, not for me, or I don't need it, I'm good, kind of a thing. So that's kind of
Okay. Okay, so with that being said, I mean, I'm also asking this because how really doable is this? In terms of, I get the idea of you can have a friend as your manager, you can have a friend that's taking photos of you, but in terms of really pushing the music, like making the entire world hear the song, literally, you can go to DistroKid or you can go to, I mean, I can call any of these things and go and put your song on there. You can even go to AudioMax, Spotify, whatever. But then for those placements on playlists and all those things, I mean, how really doable and accessible is it to an individual artist who is just trying to go independent? Because what you get from your record label are all these things that I'm trying to, like, these already standing connections. So it's not like it's a big deal. It's just a process. But when you're an independent artist, how really feasible are these things to get to the right people?
So the thing is, again, it's almost like operating like a sole proprietor in a sense, where you might need to outsource a lot of these things. Someone mentioned in one of the talks, and I mentioned it, that not all distributors will play lists for you. Think about it. A label will focus on a small number of artists that they will put everything. Of course, they must have seen that, okay, you're a good investment for them to want to do this. Distributor is open to everyone. So let's put it this way. They say, okay, these are the ones that we see the opportunity. These ones, not so much. What happens to these ones that are not so much, that maybe need time? That is, do you understand? That, I don't know if you want to be with a label. There's nothing wrong with that. But then what do you do to position yourself to get there, to have the opportunity of a label? Do you sit and wait? Do you understand? Because there are bodies that are companies that actually handle playlisting. Yes. Now, it might require you to have some money to get that done. Do you get? It may just have to do with, you using something as simple as social media. I talked about TikTok and the power of TikTok. Do you understand? Like, we've seen it happen over and over again. Songs will just start going viral. You just need to be a little bit creative. You may not always have the money to throw around, like, the labels. Yeah. However, the labels don't randomly go pick artists. Now, there are some, like maybe the indies that we have here, that would develop an artist. But, and I mentioned this, you may need to present something for you to be viable. Again, it might have to be with, like, your social, the way you are, let's say in terms of social media, your numbers, maybe it's your streams, how you're performing. You could get to a stage with your streams that even the stores would ask the distributor about you. It happens all the time. Yes. They would reach out to me and they'll ask me, please, we want to put this person on a playlist. And I'm like, who's this artist? It happens, okay. So yeah.
Yes, I absolutely agree. A round of applause for her. She's really explained it. It's really about your work. You have to put in the work and put in the effort so that you can stand out. You don't want to be irregular and just blend with the background, I beg. So I'm going to ask Dr. Caise. You've been in the mix for a long time. You've mixed the mix, even the music. I mean, as you know. But now that we're talking about record labels, artists, independently, or whatever relationships that they might have, how do you foresee the relationship between artists and record labels evolving in the coming years? And what should artists, especially emerging ones, prepare for?
Okay. Hello, everyone. First and foremost, it's good to be here, and I think you being here is the right place. The reason why I'm saying that is seeking information is what is going to get you to the next level, especially for people who have been doing it for a long time. Okay, so to answer the question, I think the way you can look at it as record labels are like banks. They're banks for music artists, right? So they fund your project with the hope that it blows and they can get their money back. Now, what has happened, apart from that, they do a few other things, but what has happened now is with the advance of internet, advance of DSPs, all these Spotify, etc., you can bypass that. So that is the next level. What is now happening is there an alternative way for you to raise money? What is happening in Germany and I think Sweden is via blockchain. So what you have is an NFT project you bring out, and then you build a community, and from that community you raise funds, and then you can actually get your music out there. So the music industry is going to keep changing. It's going to keep evolving. In the past, it was just you go to this record label, they give you the money, you do marketing, you shoot videos, you do all this, and hopefully you blow, and then you can pay the record label back, and everybody goes. But it's changing. You have a lot of power in your hands now. Because of the internet, because of all these different platforms, you have the ability to actually take your destiny into your hand. And I think there's something I wanted to mention in that you are 100% responsible for the outcome of your life. Mm-hmm. I think it's so important, and I wish somebody had explained this to me earlier on. There will be people there that would help you. Collaboration is very important, but it's really down to you. Whatever situation you find yourself in, either you want to go via the record label or you want to explore these new different techniques, it's down to you. Your brand, coming to seminars like this to learn about how you can, protect yourself legally, how you can, be the best artist you can. It's really entirely your responsibility. Have a good team around you, a manager, people that advise you well, but take your career into your own hands. Don't say, oh, I didn't blow because this manager did not do their work. Oh, I didn't blow because I don't have money. All those things are changing. People, as he mentioned, you put out a 30-second clip and it can blow. So really take the steps to secure your future. Really believe in this. If you're going to do this, it's a very demanding industry. There are no giveaways, Also, very importantly, no one has it figured out. Don't let anybody deceive you. Everybody's just trying to learn as they go. So if you have all this information, if you know all this, take it into your own hands. Start taking the journey. You will learn on the way. You make mistakes. It's okay. You get back up. You keep going, and you'll be good.
Okay. So I want to, and before we give him his round of applause, there's another question I want to use to follow up. But the thing is, I need to point out something that's obvious. And it's not because I'm trying to rattle any cages or shake any tables, but I'm just being honest. Being a woman, a girl, a female already is tough. I know that it's something that we don't like to admit to because when we now admit it, then it means that we're admitting that we are already in a situation which is not necessary. But the reason I'm pointing this out is because as much as you say that, which is true, your career is in your hands, your music is in your hands, you have to do it. But there are not as many opportunities, or should I say, there's not enough avenues where you can express yourself the most as a woman. The most being that, being your full self, appreciating you as a woman, singing about the things that are passionate to you and how you want to carry yourself. Now, I also find that it might be a little bit slightly difficult for record labels to want to accept female creatives. Maybe it is because we are seen as maybe fragile, or we're not doing too much or something, you know. Or the attention that we need is too much. When they say, "Oh, you have to come on stage now," we'll be thinking about hair, makeup, outfits. I don't know what are the reasons why record labels find it a little shady with
To
female.
be honest, I think I kind of look at it completely different. And a good model will be Uncle Waffles. I don't know if there are any aspiring DJs here. Yeah, Uncle Waffles was a presenter about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And then she just starts DJing. I think it was during lockdown.
Yes,
She just
she
puts it out
just
there.
started that. Yeah.
And then she just leveraged social media. And then now she's DJing all over the world. So people that have been DJing for 10 years haven't achieved what she's achieved. And I think it's just a good example of how, if you take it into your own hands, think of creative ways to make yourself different in the industry. You know, it's a very tough industry, and I think standing out is probably the key. It's a global platform. You know, you're not dealing with, when we were trying to blow back in the days, it was we have to blow in Lagos, blow in Nigeria, maybe we'll go to South Africa, maybe we'll go to, you know. Yankee was very far, you know, but now it's a global game. You know, literally the world is at your fingers with the internet. And I think understanding the beauty, the uniqueness you have as women is also very important. A lot of the advice I'm giving to you, I gave to DJ Lambo, I gave to DJ Copy, and, you know, it took them to where they were. And I think it is because of the fact that they wanted it bad. The industry would test you.
Yes.
It will test you to see if you really want it.
Yes.
It will throw you some models. If you can surmount it, then it will give you what you want. But I think, forget that, you know, you guys are women, but appreciate your beauty, but go for it. It will test you. The industry will test you. I'm saying it over and over again. But yeah, if you pass the test, you'll be good.
Okay, let me ask Lachlan instead for that. Do you believe that that the lack of structure around independent artists isn't allowing them to reach their full potential? I mean, you know the legal parts. So the legal part is what gives structure, right? So if you have like an independent artist, just somebody that's just an artist now that just wants, do you think that affects the person rather than having like a team or like a record label backing?
Obviously, for you as an artist to get to any level, you need to have a structure. You need to have proper backing. I don't know how to make it very simple, because the industry facet is so big, it's so wide. So even if we break it down to revenue streams, you find out that publishing is on its own, no. Digital streams on its own, no. They have different, like even your career as a musician would even break into various facets. You would become a brand ambassador. You become this. So if you want to become that big artist, you need a structure. And maybe this may not be answering this particular question, but I always tell people that record labels are important. Why? Because almost 80% of the times, these indie labels that work with you, indie artists, are preparing you for the big fish. So when you have that structure that they offer to you as a record label, you now become very big. I'll just give this example, Odumodu Black. When he was an indie artist, he was great. We loved him. But recently, he just signed on to Def Jam. Yeah, I really don't know the nature of the relationship, because another thing, talking about the legal landscape, they now come with different headings. Yeah. It does not come as record label deal. It will come licensing. It will come different ways. But at the end of the day, what is the major obligation of the person to the artist? So it is important for you to have structure, one. It's also important for you to bait in the big dogs, because that is how you are going to get to the peak of your career. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Oh, yeah, you want to add something to it?
Yeah, so I think I touched on this during my own session when I talked about you need to, because at the end of the day, for you to get bigger or to scale, is how I like to say it, the guys that will do that for you is the labels. So how do you intend, do you understand, to get there? So you need to do what you have to do in terms of an artist to build your numbers, because, again, that is the asset they look at. We're talking majors here, or even our own parent company. They need numbers as well. So I love that she said that, because artists are forgetting that. So some artists would want to, they desire, actually a lot of artists desire to be with a label because they know, oh, a label can do X, Y, Z. However, what are you going to put out there like a bait to bring them in? Do you understand? So that was really good.
Okay, I actually stated here, I said, an artist foundation is a major determinant of its longevity into this industry. And the reason why I stated that is just because, number one, we can see Ashake, we can use him as a case study. When YBNL picked him up, everything changed. But then again, Ashake already has the charisma of being an artist, of being a superstar. Your label can make you, but can you also prove yourself to be a star? And that comes to the kind of videos he was shooting, the kind of the heart he was always demonstrating in the video. TJ Omori has shot for a lot of artists, but have we seen what Ashake has done in another person else? Sure, you understand? So I believe, yes, structure is really important, and the foundation, it also determines your longevity.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Applause, please. So, Chioma, I'm gonna ask you just one. It's just one question. After this question, I'll not ask you anything again.
Okay.
So this one really is so that we can also be more enlightened about TuneCore and what can independent distribution companies like TuneCore do to help these indie artists maximize their potentials?
Maximize their potential.
Yeah.
This one hard though, because the end of the day is distribution and we're limited. Now we do a bit of pitching. We're still limited in what we can do because the catalog is a lot. And for something like TuneCore, where it's a global company, we're looking at so many other territories as well. So we do our best in terms of like the pitching that we do. Now, another position I'll say is because of the parent company that acquired TuneCore. I think we've kind of talked about it here already in regards to the benefits of like the label. We also have the parent company. I'm going to speak from the perspective of like a TuneCore. We have the label company, our parent company that offers a bit more of label-like services, like offering the advances, the marketing, the PR, the things that us as TuneCore can do. Because at the end of the day, we're charging you $14.99 to release song. Which side we want? What else are we going to do inside there? So they're the ones that can now, so give you that additional push. So yeah, I don't know if that answered the question.
Yes, of course. I mean, you just rolled over the answer, but I understand I understand because it's kind of like a give and take type of situation. Exactly. So you have to already be prepared, put in all the work, and then they can now, find a way to balance all of us out. So I'm gonna ask you, Caise, this next question. Whether we admit it or not, it's a bit of a situation to find female artists really being on top and being like as big as, like now, we're talking about the biggest artists out of Africa. It's very easy for us to say, Wizkid, Burna Boy, Davido. Very, very quickly. It's like the first, there's no question, no brainer. But then we also know that we have Tiwa, we have Yemi Alade, we have Niniola, we have Thames, we have Ira. And even though we'll still call them, I don't know whether I'm the only person that feels like, I even feel kind of upset having a female category when it comes to female artist of the year or male artist of the year. I kind of feel like it should be artist of the year, male or female, anybody can win that. That kind of feeling. So I'm kind of like, if we can just be on the same plane. I know that we are not right now, but I mean, what can we do to change that? To have female artists really be like, oh, we are now Wizkid, Davido, and Burna Boy.
Oh, this is a tough question.
I also ask you in particular.
No, I think female artists are killing it. Thames, her numbers are, she's global, she's probably leading the pack in the global artist movement, Afrobeat movement. Ira Star is doing well. Skylar as well is killing it. I think it's just combination of branding, combination of determination. I think a major point I would emphasize is collaboration. If I could put it lightly, I don't know if I can speak on behalf of all men, but I think one of the cheat codes they have is the amount of collaborations they go ahead with. And maybe that's something, the females might have to get a bit better, collaborating with each other and leveraging, the synergy factor. I think something that's really, really important in this music industry is collaboration. Getting the right team together, putting it together. So, I guess
Collaborations,
they
right?
just work together
Yes.
better. Look for the best artists, for the best directors, for the best, in all genres. And I think if women come together to push themselves as a
Yes,
unit, I think it'd be
yes.
great.
I think that really has to do with how we even navigate the entire system by ourselves, amongst ourselves. See these guys, they always collaborate every time. Can you count how many songs like Fino and Olamide have that
So,
have been such
I
big
would love to
bangers?
see Thames and Arista on a track.
Yeah,
Do you
or
understand?
something, That would be
Do you
so
understand?
fire. Like, it would be so cool. It will happen. We'll start from here. It will happen. And speaking of female artists and collaborations, guys, please, I need you to give it up. We have somebody from Namibia. She's an artist. She's seated right there. You look beautiful, by the way. Her name is Taylor Jaye. Welcome. It's so nice to have you. As you can see, we are talking about everything music and the struggles. But thank you for coming, and it's so nice to have you. I'm gonna ask you, Lachlan, because this is very important, and since we're talking about legal stuff, I found that as an artist, a lot of other things you have on lockdown, things like your fashion, like your style, things like your sound, things like how you want to carry yourself. You have all that on lockdown, but you don't quite have what you should do and what you shouldn't do when it comes to going into a contract or going into business with any record label or distribution or. So I just want to ask, in terms of contracts or in terms of deals, what are the do's and don'ts?
Okay, so I'll try very hard to answer that question, but I will start with the number one don't is never sign a contract without a lawyer. Then I will
Yes.
go on to mention some clauses in record label deals that gets me.
Please do.
So, number one, option. I don't know if people understand what I mean. Option. Okay, so in every termination clause, or in most termination clauses in an agreement, you will now see after they say you can go, they will now say after the time has elapsed, they will now say we have a right to continue this relationship for another 1 year. Which auto renewal or options? Those are the terms they now use now. Now say options. So now it's very fraudulent to me. You're telling me I have a right to leave, but I cannot exercise it. Why? So that's number one for me. And for me, it's one of the reasons why people go round and round in circles in the same agreement or in the same relationship that they don't want. We've done 3 years. Why are you insisting that you want an extra 1 year that I cannot say no to? So that's number one for me. Number two, the term. I really do not subscribe to long terms, like 13 years, according to what Amanda said. Now, I usually subscribe to 2 years, 3 years. You know why? It could work for either of us. If we decide as parties that we want to go ahead, good for us. If we say we don't want to, then let us be. And it's a good time to check. Number three, number four, I don't know. I usually insist on minimum projects and time of execution. So let's say in the relationship, you must tell me that, within these 3 years, the minimum projects we're going to have is 2 albums. So it prepares me. It helps my expectation. Also, I usually like to insist on minimum marketing advance or marketing spend so that I have an idea as well. Because what we are doing is a partnership. We're working together. You don't have to keep some things away from me. Time for execution. Let me explain that. So let's say I submit my songs to you. Within which amount of time would I be expecting that my songs will be out? Because I believe if you don't check them, they will just put you on the bench. So if you say, within 3 months after I submit my songs to you, if the relationship is 2 years, within 3 months after I submit my songs to you, at least my first project should be out. Yes. That way, you're checking each other. I'm probably forgetting any of the terms that I wanted to talk about. So that is about that. Moral waiver. There's a reason why the act says you cannot assign, you cannot waive your moral rights. Why is your agreement saying that I am waiving? So sometimes they say they need it to properly exploit. But what you're going to get from me, what I'm giving to you, is a license to exploit my work economically. Why do you want to move to morals? There's a reason why it's different. There's moral rights and there's economic rights. I have said, go ahead, do whatever you want with my song, but why do you still want my moral rights? Because some territories allow for moral waivers and assignments, but some territories do not. And don't forget that music is universal. So whenever you're looking at your contract, you're not looking at your contract as a Nigerian. You're looking at your contract as a member of the universe. Yes. I'm trying to... Okay, I think I'll stop there.
Makes sense. It's making sense, Abi. She's making a lot of sense. Oh, you're done. Thank you so much, Lachlan. And thank you so much to all our panelists. You guys, a round of applause, please. I hope that we've all been educated. Do you have any questions? You look very, very demanding. Okay, so we're just going to take like maybe 3 questions so that we don't do too much, right?
Okay, hello.
Yes?
Hi, my name is Laura.
Okay.
And I wanted to ask, the legal part is, can sexual harassment be a termination clause?
Again, you have to really look at your termination clause. Sexual harassment should be a ground, ordinarily, because as far as you can prove it. So in most record label deals or like agreements I have looked at in the termination clause, you have like a notice period. If there's anything going on with you that you don't like with the other party, don't forget, this is a relationship. You can say, because I don't like this thing you're doing to me, I'm going to terminate this contract. Do you understand? And you can leave on that ground, especially when you can defend it and you have your facts ready to leave on that ground. Yes.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
Okay, sorry.
Purple hoodie?
Yeah, sorry, Mike. And there's also a section in contracts that always has me like weirded out because it's like, oh, this is limited but not limited to. So I feel like it's telling me I'm allowed to, you can exploit my content to this point, but it's also not limited to, but it's like, you can, but you can't. And
I think it's your Imbo that is our problem.
Yeah.
So first, an indemnity clause or indemnification clause. So usually in an artist agreement, the kind of indemnification clause you will have has to do with the, the originality or you owning the content. They are investors. And you know how these infringement cases work. If they put out your song and claim it is yours and somebody else comes with a lawsuit, who will pay? So they are saying that if you are giving us any work that does not belong to you and there's bege, you will bear it. I will not be the one to bear it. So in a management agreement, it will mean any kind. Once you've done any representation that is false and there's an issue from it, you will bear the consequence. So limited, you have to look at the agreement to understand what you mean.
Yeah.
Hi. My name is Timmy Ade. So my question is, the only reason why I'm asking this question is because earlier today, Cheche actually mentioned it, and she was like, why don't we have females owning record labels? That's my question.
Oh, we have some.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I own my own record labels, just saying. Just saying, just so you know. We have some.
Are you signing artists?
Currently, not right now. I'm the artist on the record label. I mean, to be honest, of course, in the future, we'll be open to that. The thing is, when you're starting out a business, obviously you have to create structure and be solid before you can now bring people on. So I'm sure that there are lots of other record labels that are owned by females. I mean, if you even think about, I don't know, where's Yemi Alade on? That you just don't know about it. No, so the thing is, they don't need to tell you. The only problem is that you're focused on like Mavins, you're focused on Chocolate City. That's the thing. No, but you know Yemi Alade. So if you know her, you're supposed to know her.
Tiwa Savage.
Even
323 Entertainment.
Oh, you see, Tiwa Savage, you see? So if you know their music, then you should know that they are putting it out.
I think the real question
on
should
that
be, why are
imprint.
they not signing people?
Okay, yeah. She wanted to ask one question, and after that, please, we're done.
Okay.
Let's keep
Hi,
it
my
moving.
name is Nanya.
Hi, Nanya.
I want to know at what point in an artist's career are they allowed to, like, I mean, in the relationship with a label, to be able to negotiate to have ownership of their masters, or like have some ownership, sha?
So I thought to myself that I was going to talk about reversion clause. It depends. What kind of agreement are you signing? If you've assigned ownership to them in perpetuity, I'm sure all of you have heard in perpetuity. That's a conversation for another day. Sometimes they give you an opportunity to buy back your masters from them. And back to what I said, it depends on the conversations that you've had and the agreements that you have signed from the onset. And if you want to leave, even if it says you cannot buy back or anything, you can still have that conversation at any point. I want to leave, and what are the options available to me as regards my masters? You can always have that. It's a relationship.
The girls are now having master classes. That's incredible. Put your hands together for yourselves. Thank you very much. Thank you very much to the good folks of TuneCore and Cheche's Nation. Put your hands together for them as well. I'll keep it very brief, and I'll take my glasses off so that I can see your eyes. I come from an era in the business where it was only one girl at a time. Just one. So if it wasn't, even took a minute before the girls became a proper demographic to contend with. It wasn't, you guys were always like an addition to the rest of the boys. And then all of a sudden, the tides changed. And people like Wed MC were one of the first people to kick the doors down. And then Sasha came. And a whole generation of artists came. And you guys need to also do your research, because you guys are quite young. So you might not know some of these names that I'm mentioning. And then Tiwa came through. Then Yemi Alade came through, and the rest is history. So today you can see a whole lineup, and there's Ira Star, there's Niniola, so the girls came up. The girls fought their way up and fought their way, not just in music, but in production. Duni is a producer, she's a songwriter, and then she's a performer as well. So you see, this business is rugged. I don't know what they've been teaching you, but I came in towards the tail end of it. But this business is not for the faint-hearted. It's not for people that leave it for their management to handle. You will fight for everything. If you don't, then you might as well just sit at home, sing in your mirror, record and put it up on TikTok, and that will be it. But nobody's going to do jack for you in this business. You're the first marketer for your music. So if TuneCore is putting together such a great platform for you guys, I need you guys to like really key in. I don't need you to look at it like somewhere you just spent your Saturday before you went to the beach. I need you guys to understand the music business has changed dramatically in the last 6-7 years. Dramatically. The money that you need to push music now is criminal. Everything is money. Radio, TikTok, Instagram, every single thing you're doing is money. So you have a great voice. That's amazing. But that's like, it used to be 20%. Now it's 4%. You and your incredible voice. You understand? Because there's so much to do. You need to define the brand. I mean, Pearl has been here. Pearl has been fighting. I'm part OAP. I'm part artist, but you must respect me because I'm an artist. And a lot of people think she's privileged because she works for Sound City. But the truth is that she's done everything that artists do. She's done listenings. She's made records. She's mixed and mastered her records properly. She's shot videos. So she's gone in. So nobody's going to do jack for you. So every chick you see out there, whether it be a plus-size Teddy, or whether it be an RI star, you don't know how many years plus-size Teddy sat at the Maven camp writing music before it was her turn. You don't know how many times she gave up and she quit and she didn't want to do it anymore because she felt they were wasting her time. Nobody's going to do jack for you in this business. You are the first marketer, the first believer, the first of every single thing that you're coming into this game with. But more importantly, you are coming at a great time in music. Music is a lot broader. So nobody's going to come and pigeonhole you and tell you you need to sound in such and such and such way. If you're a slow artist and it's slower BPM and it's music is slower, stay in your space and kill it. Find your audience. Continue to create, build your audience. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of social media. It's a lot of money. Watch the contracts. Find a lawyer. I'm just capping up everything they've taught you here. Find a lawyer. Read your contracts. Understand what the contracts say in layman terms. I signed an artist some years ago. Her name is Chidinma. Do any of you know her? I've worked with a lot of artists. So you guys might have remembered me from a video called Emini Bola. You'd have remembered me from like back in the day. Like I put a lot of people together as artists, and a lot of artists, from Fino to Chidinma to, I take full credit. You understand? But each of Clarence,
Yes.
no, Clarence is a planet. Clarence is not even just an artist. Yeah, he did your video.
Yes, he did my video. So
You people need to clap for Pello. She's putting a lot of work.
yeah.
Yeah. So, girls, it's expensive. Your hair, your outfits. You know how you roll out is dope. Me as a guy, I can wear this all year round. You won't even notice. As long as I'm clean and I'm not smelling. But for chicks, it's detail. The devil is in the detail. It's your hair, it's your lashes, it's how you come out, it's everything. Even if you're a new generation, Gen Z type or haute artist, it still takes detailing. But you know what? In that detailing is money if somebody's paying for it. So if it's a label that putting it together, you have a hairstylist, you have everybody, you have a manager, you have a PA, so people are running around you and it's ticking, it's money. Because if it was up to you, you go and do it yourself. If you had the money, you pay for all these people to go and do it yourself. But the moment you sit down and somebody wants to sign you and is putting a contract on the table, you need to understand the clauses. I have a clause in the artist contracts called a civil debt clause. That's crazy because I didn't even really know what it meant until my lawyer, Tunji Ogunde, told me, add it. Do you know what that thing is? Even after you leave the label, whether we make money or we don't make money, you're still owing us. It's a civil debt clause. The artist didn't read it. So today, Chidinma is a gospel artist, but I'm still earning of it. Until I now decided, okay, you know what? Go. Just go. Then artists, you need to understand what everything means. When I put money into your videos, it's my money now. People have sold land. People have sold houses. People have sold shares just to get artists to function and blow. And even when they don't blow, so artists will start crying, oh, I need to leave. The label is holding me back. But it was somebody's money. Yeah. So what I do as we spend, I give you a monthly statement. This is all that champagne you drank last week at Tiwa's event, that's it. You want to fly business class, that's it. You want to make your hair, your nails in the same place, that's it. The accounting of it is brutal. So whatever you do, my girls, I just need you to realize that this thing has turned into a very cold business. This thing is not a joke. This is not a destiny shaper, as you like to call the chairman that come in and pay for your music. There's no destiny shaping or God sent you to get me to this level. Except,
no, none of that, bro.
Except you're dealing with some G-boys that don't care.
Exactly.
Right, that don't just put the money together and they're flexing. And the danger of that is when they get tired, they just dump you and move. So you need to be very aware without actually being confrontational. Just be clever. Conclusively, if it gives me a lot of joy to see all of you sitting here and understanding that this is the next generation of female stars in Nigeria.
Woo! That's so amazing.
God bless you guys. Keep it. Tag me on social media if you have any questions. I know where all the bodies are buried. Don't worry.
He does.
Talk to me.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Illbliss. It's so nice to have you.
I have to always bring a little bit of Namibian flavor, man. Shout out to my sister, Jaye. We've been talking about this since last year. So to be here, supporting, seeing this come alive, and just knowing that it's going to grow bigger, I'm just so honored to be here. Thank you so much, guys. My name is Taylor Jaye, all the way from Namibia. I came down just for this, just to show a little bit of love. Yeah, and I've always been a firm believer in empowering women. I also run my own foundation for women back home, for supporting creatives. And I started it in Johannesburg, and then I moved into Namibia. I was the first to book and start paying artists that you know today, like Durban Gogo, Moonchild Sanelli, Nadia Nakai, basically running after sponsorships and putting together events to book them for promo, So I'm a firm believer in, nurturing and, pouring into female creatives. Everything that he said is correct. I would just like to add a little bit more. If you're starting out, if you can't pay someone to do it for you, find a way to learn how to do it yourself. That's the earliest thing. That's the first thing I had to learn. I remember my first launch, I didn't have a designer. I didn't have any clothes to wear or anything, but by the grace of God, my grandmother had taught me how to sew. I had to sew my own outfit. No one knew that when I walked onto that stage, it was an outfit I had to sew myself, Over time, obviously now I can afford to get someone to do it and stuff, So if you want to start off and you don't want to if you can't find someone to put that much budget into you, start with the small things, that you can do yourself. Even when it comes to music videos, I remember the first time I shot a music video, it was in South Africa, and we spent quite a lot of money. We spent like 50,000, and someone came on set, took my script, and started just delegating people. And I sat there, and I watched that man, and I was like, wait a minute, I can do this. He's not doing anything. He's taking my idea and just putting a DOP and telling him, shoot. I can do that. It's my idea, you understand? So after that, I decided, you know what, my next music video, I'm gonna source people that I know in production. Individual guys that are coming up who also need opportunities, or rather rent my own equipment and go outsource sets, set up my own set. I remember I shot a video with Bosiswa called Sugar Blesser, and we had to paint the set ourselves. I was on set painting the set from scratch, because for me to rent that set, it would have cost me 100,000. So you have to be willing to do the small things yourself. You're gonna save a lot of time, and that bill that he's talking about that adds up there. Yeah. They Trevor, they what, that bill adds up, but you can, if you want to, you have to try and move towards being as more independent as you can, so that bill goes towards other things. You get me? Especially if you're lucky to sign a whole 360 deal, or a big Universal, Sony type deal, But if nowadays, most artists are not doing that. So if you're kind of just doing distribution with TuneCore and you're 100% indie, besides the distribution, then try and do everything kind of yourself, bit by bit. Yeah, and what else? And find other avenues where you can generate income for yourself. You are beautiful ladies. As musicians, there's a lot more you can be doing just to, keep your brand up. If you got clothing, turn it into a brand. That's extra income. In this industry, it's hardcore. It's very, very difficult to make a living. Very few artists are actually making a living from their music. Most of them are making money from products. Yeah, from their products, from their social media, all of that. So if you need budget, become relevant on TikTok. I've got a friend, he's part of TikTok Africa. He's been telling me to get on TikTok. I'm sorry, but it's past I can't do it, But you guys, it's for your age, you can easily blow, and you won't have to spend as much money blowing if you just get on platforms like TikTok and do just a little bit of work with content. Yeah, so what else did I want to add? And everything they said, I'm in agreement.
I think that you've done a fantastic job. I absolutely agree. A round of applause for her.
Thank you so much.